5 things you need to know about driving in Utah. If you are considering making a move to Utah, you're going to want to know these 5 things about driving, mainly on the freeways around Utah. And also make sure you stay tuned till the end, because I'm going to share with you my number 1 thing I do, and it saves me every time. So stay tuned. Number 1. Our speed limit is faster here in Utah than you find in most other states. For instance, if you are driving in the Salt Lake City metro area on the freeway, Interstate 15 and parts of Interstate 80, you are talking about 70 mile per hour speed limits. If you're driving between Salt Lake and St. George on Interstate 15, you're really closer to 80 miles per hour. And the same is true if you're taking Interstate 80 and you get outside the Salt Lake and Park City areas when you're heading out towards Nevada and California, or you're heading east towards Colorado, you're going to be closer to that 80 mile per hour mark. Number 2, people drive a lot faster than the speed limit. So even here in Salt Lake City, people will blaze past me on the freeway if I'm doing 75 miles per hour. It is not uncommon to see people doing 80-ish miles an hour here in the Salt Lake metro area. Now that's of course not during prime time commuting when traffic is slower and things like that. But you will see that. Don't even get me started on road trips between Salt Lake and St. George. You're really talking 90, 100 mile per hour speeds that you see. Now, I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just saying be prepared. It's not exactly uncommon to see people speeding. Even this morning, I was driving on Bangerter Parkway, which is under construction, and it's 50 miles per hour right now in the construction zone. And people were flying past me because I was doing 60. So just be prepared for fast driving. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that bell. That way you're alerted each time I drop a new video. Okay, number 3 and number 4, they kind of go together. I'm gonna mix those two together, but the drivers in Utah, they tend to be completely oblivious to what is happening around them, and inconsiderate, rude drivers. So what I'm talking about, maybe I'm old school, but when somebody lets me in because I have my blinker on and I'm trying to merge into traffic, I always wave to them and thank them for letting me in. Here in Utah, people turn their blinker on, if you're lucky, and they just start getting over. And then it's your fault if you don't let them in. It's like what they call the drunk swerve towards you. And they just think I turn my blinker on, that means I just get over and I don't have to worry about being let in. You have the people driving in the fast lane, completely oblivious to what is going on around them. There could be a mile worth of traffic behind them and they don't care. They're fast lane poachers. They just stay there and it's everybody else's problem around them to go around them, even though the fast lane is a passing lane. And we do have signs in Utah that says, don't stay in the left lane, move to the right. They still do it. And sadly, I saw this coming into Salt Lake City about a year ago. A UHP officer was trying to respond to what turned out to be a fatal car crash. And this person was just in the fast lane, completely oblivious to the officer's lights on behind them. And it was probably a good 3 miles before this person even realized that UHP was trying to get past them. You also tend to find people that yesterday I was driving in Draper down a 2-lane road and it had a turn lane in between. This person got impatient. It's a 35 mile an hour zone. There's a lot of schools that let out and you'll see kids crossing 300 East in Draper. And then they just got impatient. So they just hightailed it down the center turn lane to pass the traffic because they weren't going fast enough for them. And we were doing about, I don't know, 37 miles an hour. You know, we were right about the speed limit, maybe a little bit like faster than the speed limit. This guy was in front of me, but yeah, he just blaze past the cars in front of him because they weren't going fast enough. So be prepared for rude and inconsiderate, oblivious drivers. Okay, and finally, this tip saves me every single time. Number 5, drive with your Google Maps or Apple Maps on. I'm not kidding. I have people in my car that come from out of town and they're like, why do you have your maps on? Do you not know where we're going? Yeah, I do. I drive with my maps on to go home, and it has saved me every time. Just last weekend, I was showing houses and I was driving from Salt Lake down to the Pleasant Grove area. Straight shot Interstate 15. I still put my Google Maps on, and guess what? It saved me 12 minutes because there was a car fire on the freeway, and it rerouted me so I didn't have to sit in the traffic on Interstate 15, and I took some surface streets and then jumped back on the freeway. It happens all the time, even in the middle of the day, even on the weekends. It doesn't matter. Always put your maps on, even if you know where you're going, because it does save you just about every time. Now, I know that sounds silly, and I don't typically do that anywhere else I go if I know where I'm going, but it has saved me so much time and stress of sitting in traffic. I can't even count how many times. So seriously, this is a screenshot I have taken while I was driving just to show why I use my Google Maps when I'm driving around town. If you're thinking about making a real estate move and relocating to Utah, reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you, answer any questions that you have about Utah and living in Utah, and any real estate related questions that you may have. If you haven't already, like I said, subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that bell so you're alerted each time I drop a new video. But as always, make it a great day.